Chapter 2898, Backed by the Dragon Palace, Boundless Magic Power One Time Past. It had been a year since Prime Minister Turtle reported about the war in Lioli region. Over the past year, Wang Xian had received news from time to time. Today, the Dragon Palace was unusually lively. Because it was the New Year. The New Year was a festival in China, and also a festival on Earth for Wang Xian. Due to the rapid development of the Dragon Palace and the war, Wang Xian and the rest had not celebrated the New Year. After a long time, his sister, Xiao Yu, and the girls suddenly mentioned it. Wang Xian was prepared to celebrate the New Year. Located on the Dragon Island in the Imperial Star Domain, the entire island was bustling. The people in the Imperial Star Domain did not know what day it was, but they knew that the Dragon King and the rest were celebrating the New Year. Although they did not understand, the entire Dragon Island was unusually lively. As the Dragon Palace was located, many people from the Heavenly Witch Domain came here for a holiday. Even people from all over the world came to the Imperial Star Domain for a holiday. Due to the rule of the Dragon Palace, the world had its own order. Anyone who wanted to kill someone for no reason would have to pay the price. With the suppression of the Dragon Palace, no one dared to offend them. It's been a long time since we celebrated the New Year. I miss it. The main Dragon Palace was decorated with lanterns and streamers. Roving Girl was leading a group of maidservants to decorate the place. Beside the underwater mountains in the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian, a group of girls, and a group of friends walked and chatted. I did not expect the Dragon King to rise from a small civilized planet. Beside them, Hong Fengyan exclaimed to Wang Xian and the rest. Hee. I also did not expect to reach this stage after obtaining the inheritance of the Divine Dragon. Wang Xian said with a smile and a tinge of emotions. Boss Wang, this is just the beginning. In the future, Boss Wang will be a great existence who will unify the universe. Invincible Battle Law flattered him. Tianxin, who was beside him, patted him speechlessly. Let's go and watch the fireworks and have a meal together. Wang Xian chuckled. The group of friends flew out of the Dragon Palace and came to the sky. Swish, 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 swish. Swish, 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 swish. Countless people on the Dragon Island were filled with curiosity and surprise when they saw the fireworks. Fireworks didn't exist in the Imperial Star region. Cheers! After admiring the fireworks, everyone went to the Dragon King Hall and toasted. Wang Xian raised his glass with a beaming face and toasted the crowd. Hong Fengyan and her disciples, Zhan Fa Wudi, his master, and his girlfriend Tianxin. There were also experts from Dragon Palace. While they were eating, the Upper Water God Emperor took out the communication stone plate and was slightly shocked when he saw the message on it. What is it, Master? Invincible, who was at the side, frowned slightly and asked with concern when he saw the huge change in his master's expression. Master will be going to the Colored Glaze region in a while for the matters over there. The Upper Water God Emperor closed his eyes slightly and said slowly, Master, I'll go with you. Invincible was slightly taken aback, but he quickly replied, You don't have to go. Just stay here in the Dragon Palace. The Upper Water God Emperor looked at him and said, How can I do that? Master, how can I, as your disciple, not follow you back home? I'm invincible, and I'm not an unfilial person. Master, you should know this very well. I have such a noble character. Invincible lifted his head and said to his master, Great. The Upper Water God Emperor patted his shoulder happily with a smile on his face. Brother Invincible, Tianxin, who was at the side, called out softly. It's fine. I'll go out with Master and will be back soon. Invincible said to Tianxin with assurance. I haven't been back for 1,000,000 years. Let's drink. The Upper Water God Emperor sighed as he raised his glass to his disciple. Throughout the entire banquet, no one noticed the conversation between the Upper Water God Emperor and his disciple. Everyone was having a great time. 2 hours later, the banquet ended. The group of girls met up and went for a walk on the streets of the Dragon Island. Wang Xian came to the study room beside the bedroom. Prime Minister Turtle, what's the matter? Wang Xian asked Prime Minister Turtle with a smile as he sat on the chair in the middle. Dragon King, there's news from the Lioli region. The situation there is a little crisis. 5 emperor gods from the Lioli region have fallen a day ago. Prime Minister Turtle walked over and handed a document to Wang Xian. Now that the Dragon Palace had occupied 3 territories in the bedazzling starry sky, it was necessary for them to understand the situation in the other places. 5 emperor gods have fallen? Wang Xian's expression changed slightly. Is it that serious? Over a dozen emperor gods from the evil faction have attacked the Lioli region directly, while the robots from the Mechanic Emperor region have sent out a terrifying mechanical army. In order to deal with the evil faction, 1 emperor god has fallen. In order to deal with the Mechanic Emperor region, 4 have fallen. The situation is a little serious. Prime Minister Turtle said. Send Roving Demon and the rest to understand the strength of the evil faction and the Mechanic Emperor region. We need to make preparations in advance. Wang Xian instructed Prime Minister Turtle. Yes, Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle nodded. The Mechanic Emperor region and the Enchantment region were the enemies of mankind. Although they were far away, the Dragon Palace still had to make some preparations. Boss Wang. At this time, Invincible's voice came from outside. Come in. Wang Xian looked over and said immediately, Boss Wang, I'm here to bid farewell to you. Invincible walked in and said to Wang Xian, Farewell? Where are you going? Wang Xian looked at him and asked curiously, I'm going on a long trip to the Lioli region. Invincible replied, What are you going to the Lioli region for? Wang Xian was taken aback when he heard him and revealed a shocked look. Boss Wang, you might not know, but my master is actually a disciple of the Lioli region. I heard that my master had a conflict with his father and family and hasn't been back for 1,000,000 years. It seems like something has happened in the Lioli region. My master is going back and I'm going with him. Invincible said. The Upper Water God Emperor is from the Lioli region? Wang Xian raised an eyebrow and looked at Invincible. Be careful when you go to the Lioli region. He reminded Wang Xian. Don't worry, Boss Wang. With the dragon instrument that you gave me, there won't be any danger. Moreover, the Lioli region is very strong. Although there is a war over there, my safety is still guaranteed. Invincible patted his chest. Hee, I'll lend this to you for self-defense. Wang Xian smiled and waved his arm. The immortal slaying gourd on the progenitor tree appeared in his hand. He extended his palm and said to Invincible. Chapter 2899. With the Dragon Palace at his back 2-inch? Boss Wang, what's this? Invincible looked at the immortal slaying gourd in front of him. His eyes lit up as he looked at the vibrant lights on it. He couldn't help but grab it in his hands. Immortal slaying gourd. There are quite a number of immortal slaying swords in it. The wind-attributed immortal slaying swords should be able to kill a first-order God Emperor expert. There are 20 of them in there. The immortal slaying swords of other attributes can only kill peak immortal God King existences. Wang Xian said to him, Wow, Boss Wang, this is a supreme treasure. How can you lend me such a precious treasure? Are you giving me such a powerful treasure so that I can conquer Lioli? Invincible stared at the immortal slaying gourd as he shouted, It's for you to protect your life. Wang Xian smiled at him. What danger can there be if I follow my master? Moreover, if my master returns, he will be a disciple of Lioli. Invincible, will have another strong background. Invincible squinted his eyes as he spoke. Brat, 5 God Emperors have fallen in Lioli Domain 2 days ago. Lioli Domain isn't safe now. The Dragon King is lending you this treasure to protect your life. Prime Minister Turtle teased him from the side. 5 God Emperors are dead? What the heck? Is the war in Lioli Domain that terrifying? Invincible jumped up immediately and exclaimed with his eyes wide open, Why don't you go and take a look? Prime Minister Turtle smiled at him. No wonder Master looks so terrible. Could it be that his family members have fallen? Wow, Invincible, don't want to die young. Boss Wang, do you have any more treasures? Lend me 2 more to protect myself. Invincible said with a tearful face. No more. Let's go. Your master won't send you to your death. If you encounter any danger, just return to your own God Kingdom. Anyway, your god kingdom is here in the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian waved his hand and said speechlessly, "Really, Boss Wang?" Invincible lowered his head and asked again, a little unwilling to give up. "That's all. If you die, I'll send experts from Dragon Palace to bring your corpse back," said Wang Xian. "Wuqing, I'm Boss Wang's little brother." Invincible shook his head and walked out with a long face. Wang Xian looked at his back and smiled. It was enough to give him a celestial slaying gourd to save his life. If the Water God Emperor brought him there, he would not put him in danger. After all, this was the precious disciple of the High Water God Emperor. "I didn't expect Lioli region to be so dangerous now. Master, that stubborn donkey, had a conflict with his family and didn't return for 1,000,000 years. Now that he suddenly returned, something must have happened to his family. Given the temper of this stubborn donkey, I reckon he'll go all out against the person who killed his kin. Fuck, 5 God Emperors are dead. This is dangerous. No, I need to bring more life-saving items." Invincible muttered to himself as he walked out of Wang Xian's study room. His eyes were darting around. He moved and immediately flew towards the location of the Dragon Cave. "Grandpa Sky Array, Grandpa Sky Array, your biological grandson is here," Invincible shouted as he came to the front of the Dragon Cave of Sky Array. Tian Zhen, who was in his Dragon Palace, was displeased when he heard Invincible's words. "Brat, what's the matter?" Tianjin shouted at him. "Ehe, Grandpa Sky Array, I'm coming in." Invincible chuckled as he walked in. In the Dragon Palace, Tianjin was reading the sorcerer's secret manual while a few dragon sorcerers were studying something beside him. Invincible walked in, squinted his eyes and looked around. His eyes were beaming as though he was a thief. "Brat, spit it out," Tianjin said to him. "Grandpa Sky Array, you have to save me, Grandpa Sky Array." Invincible's expression changed instantly as tears flowed from his eyes. He pounced over and hugged Tianjin's thigh. "Sob, sob, sob, Grandpa Sky Array, save me. It seems like I always bring you all kinds of delicacies." He cried and shouted with great acting skills. "Brat, just spit it out." Tianjin stared at him and said, "Grandpa Sky Array, I'm going to Lioli region with my master. There's a war in Lioli region now. Boss Wang said that 5 emperor gods died in Lioli region 2 days ago. I'm guessing that it's my master's kin who died. If I were to go to the battlefield, given my strength, I'd be courting death." Invincible wailed. "Oh, don't worry. Your master won't send you to your death." Tianjin glanced at him and said plainly, "No way, Grandpa Sky Array. It's better to be safe than sorry. If I die, who's going to bring you good wine and delicacies in the future? If I die, you'll have no descendants." Invincible shouted in an exaggerated manner. "Scram." Tianjin kicked him away with a sullen face and waved his arm. A piece of bloody cloth hung on the wall landed on Invincible's body. "Take this and scram. This is the sage's scar. After my modification, it can ensure that you won't die under the bombardment of an emperor god for 10 minutes. Tianjin said to him, "When it reaches its limit, it will disappear automatically and return to me." "Wah, Grandpa Sky Array, I love you so much." Invincible's eyes lit up as he shouted loudly. He caressed the sage's scar on his body, and his heart was filled with excitement. However, his eyes fell on a flute hanging on the wall, and he pursed his lips. "Grandpa Sky Array, now that I have this to defend myself, can you give me another one to fight with? Grandpa Sky Array, what's that flute for? Can you lend it to me?" Invincible pointed at the dirt-yellow flute and asked. He had seen the sage's scar on his body placed together with that flute. The sage's scar was a supreme treasure of the Emperor God realm, and that flute wouldn't be any worse. Tianjin stared at him and raised his brows. "Grandpa Sky Array, your grandson's life?" Invincible begged in a low voice. "That's the control of Earth. When the flute is blown, it can condense an Earth-attributed First-Order God Emperor God realm monster to battle. This treasure, along with the sage's scar on your body, is a supreme treasure of the Shaman Union. Since you call me Grandpa, I won't be stingy and can lend it to you. Just like the sage's scar, Once there's a risk of the treasure being stolen or destroyed, it will disappear immediately. Tianjin said indifferently. No problem, no problem. Grandpa Skyare, you really dote on me. Invincible's eyes lit up as he replied loudly. It's the new year. Kowtow to this old man 100 times, and I'll help you set up an array on the control of Earth, leaving behind a trace of your soul. You can activate it when the time comes. Tianjin said to Invincible as he sat on the chair and looked at him. Invincible's face darkened when he heard this. Chapter 2900. Backed by the Dragon Palace, Boundless Magic Power 3 Bam Bam Bam. Banging sounds came from where the heavenly formation resided. Haha. You are older than me anyway. I won't lose out by calling you Grandpa. I won't lose out by kowtowing to you either. Looks like I'll have to hug Elder Celestial Array's thigh tightly in the future. Not long after, Invincible walked out of the room with a smile on his face. The treasure in my hands is simply heaven-defying. Killing a First-Order God Emperor like a stray dog, kakaka. No, I have to go to Big Brother Devil 8 Branches to see if there are any treasures. Invincible's eyes lit up and he immediately flew towards the Yaki Demon Shah. Kill me, kill me. When they arrived in front of the dragon cave where the Yamada demon fiend resided, they heard an incomparably painful scream. This won't do, demon fiend. This poison is a little weak. It won't have much effect on God Emperors. Sigh, it's indeed a little difficult to deal with. The poison we've concocted can't threaten the God Emperor. The helpless voices of Devil Fiend and Devil Fiend could be heard. These two brothers are indeed abnormal. Invincible stood at the door and murmured. He could still hear the screams coming from inside. 5 months ago, a God Emperor suddenly appeared in the heavenly witchcraft domain. This God Emperor was an old man who had been in seclusion in the heavenly witch domain for hundreds of thousands of years. According to him, he had been in seclusion for 500,000 years. He didn't come out for 500,000 years just to break through to the God Emperor realm. Finally, the heavens did not disappoint those who waited. After 500,000 years, he finally broke through. After breaking through, this fellow was even more arrogant. When he came out, he suppressed the entire planet with his might. Many weak people died under his pressure. However, he did not care about the deaths of ordinary people at all. In the end, this guy was unlucky. The news was immediately spread to the Dragon and Phoenix Divine Dynasty, and Hakone Demon Fiend and Yamada Demon Fiend learned about it. They said that they were short of people to experiment on, so they brought a Wind Divine Dragon and attacked. In the end, that God Emperor was punished the moment he broke through. That guy was taken to the Dragon Palace in a daze and was used as a poison tester for the Yaki Devil Shah. Cough cough, Big Brother Yamada no Demon Fiend, your little brother is invincible and has come to pay a visit. Invincible shouted at the door. Hey little brother, you're here? Come in, come in. Demon Fien's enthusiastic voice came from inside. Alright. Battle Law Invincible walked in and saw an incomparably miserable old man tied up inside. His body trembled. However, his heart was filled with excitement. In the Dragon Palace, the most shameless and cunning people were none other than these two big brothers. It was definitely useful to get some life-saving items from these two big brothers. Two big brothers, I'm invincible in battle. I have something to ask of you two big brothers. Invincible Warrior immediately began to cry and complain. Every time he called him Big Brother, a snot and a tear. Brat, don't play tricks here. It's useless. If you have anything to say, just say it. Orochi glanced at him and said directly. Hee, the two of you are so straightforward, so handsome. Big Brother, I'm going to the Colored Glaze region. Do you know the current situation there? Even 5 God Emperors have died. I'm afraid I won't be able to keep my life if I go with Master this time. Two big brothers, see if there's anything that can save my life. Anything for defense or attack will do. As the younger brother of the two big brothers and the follower of the Dragon King, I can't possibly embarrass the Dragon Palace when I'm outside. Alright, we got it. Battle Law Invincible wanted to continue crying but was interrupted by Demon Fiend. We know what you're thinking. You can't embarrass the Dragon Palace when you're outside. It just so happens that we have some new poisons that won't kill God Emperors. However, peak God King realm experts will definitely die if they come into contact with it. Be careful when you use it. Also, give us feedback after you use it. Let's see if there's a need to improve it. Demon Fiend patted his shoulder and said, "Hehe, the two of you are really straightforward." Battle Law Invincible raised his brows and grinned. "That's right. Take it. It won't be a problem to kill a dozen peak god kings." Demon Fiend waved his arm and threw a jade bottle to Battle Law Invincible. "Hehe, two big brothers, do you have any slightly more ordinary poisons? For example, for 8th or 9th order god king realm experts." Battle Law Invincible rubbed his hands. Here. Orochi casually waved his hand and threw a dozen jade bottles to Battle Law Invincible. "Thank you, two big brothers. In the future, as long as you say the word, this little brother will not hesitate to go through water and tread on fire." Battle Law Invincible raised his head and shouted loudly, All right. If there's nothing else, scram." The two of them waved their hands. "Kakik, the Dragon Palace is really rich these days. They can casually throw out such treasures." Battle Law Invincible walked out with his buttocks swaying. Soon, he flew towards another mountain peak. In less than 10 minutes, he walked out excitedly with a spatial ring in his hand. Brother Duan Jinming is really honest. In the entire Dragon Palace, only Brother Jinming is a good person. Battle Law Invincible sighed. From the Firehammer tribe, they obtained a water droplet cannon. Its name was ordinary, but it was extremely powerful. It was a new weapon of war developed by the Firehammer tribe. The water droplet cannon was 1,000 meters long. Infused with water element laws or water element divine stones, it could kill a peak god king realm expert. The current Dragon Palace is really invincible. Battle Law Invincible sighed. Battle Law Invincible didn't know how strong the Dragon Palace was now. However, after controlling the 3 territories, all kinds of resources were transported to the Dragon Palace every day. This led to the Dragon Palace's rapid development. When he entered the Firehammer tribe's residence, he almost drooled. With sufficient resources, the Firehammer tribe started to show their terrifying talent, especially after combining with Witch Dragon's witchcraft array. Damn it. If I can still meet with danger in the Lioli region, then I really deserve to die. Invincible Battle Mage touched his waist pouch, raised his head, and walked out without a care for his family. It was no exaggeration to say that the weapons on him could kill 2 or 3 god emperors when they least expected it. "Master, senior brothers and senior sisters, let's go. We can rush over through the Dragon Palace's teleportation array." Battle Law Invincible smiled as he returned to his master. "All right." The Upper Water God Emperor and Battle Law Invincible's 2 senior brothers and senior sisters nodded. Battle Law Invincible's senior brothers and senior sisters were only at the 9th Order God King realm. The Upper Water God Emperor had only broken through to the Emperor realm a few 100,000 years ago. The disciples he accepted had only been under him for a few 100,000 years. Not every disciple was as monstrous as Battle Law Invincible. "This time, all of you just have to follow me to the Lioli region. Don't talk too much, especially you, Invincible." The Upper Water God Emperor warned Battle Law Invincible. Chapter 2901. Backed by the Dragon Palace, Boundless Magic 4-Colored Glaze Region, the #1 region in the starry sky. Countless experts were born in the Colored Glaze region. The #1 force, Colored Glaze, had more than 20 god emperors. And these were just the god emperors of the Colored Glaze force. In the Colored Glaze region, there were many other forces besides Colored Glaze. These forces were not as strong as Colored Glaze, but they were comparable to the tyrants of Tion Fa Ancient Heaven region. In the entire Colored Glaze region, there were more than 30 known god emperors. However, the current Colored Glaze region was filled with a murderous aura. The smell of war lingered in the air. On a planet closest to the sacred region in the Colored Glaze region, 5 figures flew over from the void and landed on the planet. "This is the Colored Glaze region? It looks so prosperous." Invincible Battle scanned the surroundings of the planet with a face full of curiosity. The reason why the colored glaze region is called the number 1 region is because of its size and its system. The colored glaze region is relatively fair. As long as you are a genius, there will be a day where you can shine. The colored glaze region has a lot of resources. In addition to the threat of the demons and monsters in the demon region and the robots in the Mechanic Emperor region, there is no lack of training. Hence, there are many experts. The upper water god emperor sighed slightly as he looked around at the starry sky in front of him. Let's go. After saying that, he put on a dusty computer on his hand, looked at the information on it, and walked towards the teleportation formation. Invincible Battle and the rest immediately followed behind, looking around curiously. The teleportation formations in the colored glaze region were obviously much more than the other regions, and it was much more convenient. The upper water god emperor and the rest quickly rushed towards the center of the colored glaze region. The planets in the colored glaze region had technological types, fantasy types, and a mix of technology and fantasy types. The closer they got to the center, the more they could feel the solemn atmosphere. There were even white cloths hung in some places to commemorate the fallen god emperors. The upper water god emperor looked at the portraits and photos of the fallen god emperors with a solemn expression. Invincible Battle and the rest looked over and found that among the 5 fallen god emperors, there was an old man who looked similar to their master. The 5 god emperors were not all from the colored glaze region. 3 of them were from the colored glaze region, and the other 2 were patriarchs of other forces. After 3 days of teleportation, they arrived at a floating city in the sky. As soon as he stepped out of the teleportation formation, he saw the words Glazed World in front of him. This was an incomparably huge city. It could also be called an incomparably huge cosmic island. The entire Lazuli world was abnormally prosperous. The upper water god emperor looked at the world in front of him and stopped for a full 10 seconds. Master, since you're here, let's go over. Let us take a look at our sect. Second senior sister, who was invincible in combat, said, They're here. They're all here. Upper water god emperor murmured. With a wave of his arm, he sent Invincible and the other 3 flying forward. Master came from Colored Glass, a great clan of colored glass, the Shang Shui clan. Our Shang Shui clan has been loyal to colored glass for generations. 1,000,000 years ago, Master left for the 8 desolates and 6 directions due to some reasons. The upper water god emperor said to them, his eyes gleaming, Your advisor perished in the great battle not long ago. After pondering for a few seconds, he added, Master, were they killed by the robots or by the demons of Chi-Mei region? At the side, the burly first senior brother growled with a murderous look. They perished in the battlefield of Chi-Mei region. The upper water god emperor sighed with tears glistening in his eyes. The atmosphere turned silent. The upper water god emperor looked ahead and led them flying rapidly. Experts below the emperor god emperor were forbidden to fly in the colored glass world. The aura of the upper water god emperor was unrestrained, and no one came forward to stop them. After flying for a few hours, a huge building emitting 5-colored radiance appeared in front of them. The building was like a mountain and was exceptionally eye-catching in the entire world. Is that the origin of colored glass world? Glazed Jade Tower. Third senior brother looked at the 5-colored building in front of him and murmured, That's right. That's the Glazed Jade Tower. The entire Glazed Jade Tower is made of colored glass divine stone. It's priceless. The upper water god emperor said with nostalgia, Senior, what's the matter? What's the matter for you to come to colored glass tower? When the upper water god emperor and the rest arrived before the Glazed Jade Tower, more than 20 middle-aged and old men immediately flew over and stared at the upper water god emperor. Sensing the might of the upper water god emperor, they asked with vigilance and respect, Upper water clear sky. The upper water god emperor said plainly, Upper water clear sky? The crowd was slightly stunned as they looked at him with astonishment. Clear sky, I didn't expect you to break through to the emperor god realm. At this moment, an old man below stared at the upper water god emperor in astonishment. Hee, I was just lucky. 12 protectors, you're still the same. The upper water god emperor smiled plainly and said to the old man, Come back. The past is in the past. Moreover, your father, the old man looked at him and said slowly, I know. I'm back. The upper water god emperor nodded his head plainly. Welcome home, Sir God Emperor. The old man bowed to him and said solemnly, Let's go. The upper water god emperor moved and continued flying in with Jean Woody and the rest. He's the upper water god emperor who severely injured his brother? Sighed. Who can tell the past clearly? Back then, upper water god emperor's children had all died in that incident. In the sky, more than 20 middle-aged old men recalled something as they spoke softly. The glazed jade pavilion was huge and occupied a radius of more than 10,000 kilometers. The emperor god experts and core disciples of the glazed jade pavilion resided here. At this moment, thousands of people were gathered at the glazed jade clan. The entire land of the clan was filled with solemnity. In the middle there were 3 portraits. A group of relatives and disciples stood in front. The upper water god emperor and the rest flew over and attracted some people's attention. Many of them had a change of expression when they saw the upper water god emperor. Why is he here? Why is this guy here? Who asked him to come? If it wasn't for him, Qinghe wouldn't have died. Some of them spoke with angry expressions on their faces. I asked second brother to come. A lady in the middle said, Qingshan has become an emperor god. The 5 old men in front of the lady looked over and commented with flickering eyes. The 5 old men's words caused everyone in the surroundings to be slightly shocked. Even the woman was extremely surprised. The upper water god emperor looked down without any expression on his face. He landed on the ground and walked forward. Everyone's attention was focused on him. Invincible warrior looked around curiously and raised his eyebrows slightly. Chapter 2902. With the Dragon Palace at his back, 5. The atmosphere in the clan grounds was a little weird. Invincible Jean scanned the surroundings. He realized that there were people around him staring at his master furiously. There were also people looking at him with complicated gazes. He followed behind the Shangshui emperor and dared not speak as he walked forward. Shangshui Qingshan, how dare you come back? When the Shangshui emperor was about to walk to the front, a woman walked out and stared at him furiously, pointing at him and shouting, Why wouldn't I dare to come back? The Shangshui emperor looked at the woman who pointed at him and asked expressionlessly, You, sister-in-law, it's been 1,000,000 years. Father died in the battle. So be it if second brother is here. A woman who looked similar to the Shangshui emperor beside the woman said to her, What happened 1,000,000 years ago is in the past. Qingshan, pay your respects to your father. If your father knows that you have become an emperor god, he will be very happy. An old man in the middle said, Yeah, you should have come back after becoming an emperor god. What happened back then was just a coincidental tragedy. Another old man said, Yes, second grandpa, uncle. The Shangshui emperor looked at the few old men and nodded. He walked forward, took out an incense stick and knelt down. Invincible Jean and the rest followed behind and knelt down. The Shangshui emperor knelt in front and kowtowed heavily a few times with reddened eyes. The fact that Qingshan could come back at this time proves that he is filial. It also proves that he hasn't forgotten that he is from Azure Glass. Let's not talk about what happened in the past. An old man looked at the Shangshui emperor who was kneeling down and said. He looked at the woman and the rest who had reprimanded him. When the woman heard the elder, her expression changed. She turned her head and didn't say a word. The rest didn't say anything either. After all, Shangshui Qingshan had become an emperor god. Moreover, he had rushed over under such dangerous circumstances. This was enough to prove his filial piety and loyalty. Second brother, get up. The Shangshui emperor knelt there for more than 10 minutes. A woman walked over and held his arm. Third sister. The Shangshui emperor looked at his sister with reddened eyes. He couldn't help but extend his arms to hug her. Second brother, father has already forgiven you for what happened in the past. Father also knows that what he did was wrong. Let bygones be bygones. From now on, we will live a good life here. After all, this is your home, second brother. The lady said to the upper water god emperor. The upper water god emperor nodded silently. This is going to be tough. Seeing this, Invincible muttered in his heart. The Lioli region was not safe at the moment. Supreme Elders, this is an urgent matter. The Domain Lord and the others would like to see you. At this moment, an old man suddenly flew over and said to all of them, Let's go. An old man frowned and immediately said, Second brother, now that the war is urgent, we can only spare some time to pay our respects to Father and the others. The lady said to the Upper Water God Emperor, Let's go. Since Father has died in battle, let me take his place. A cold look appeared on the face of the Upper Water God Emperor. Qingshan, follow us. When the few Grand Elders heard his words, they turned to look at him. The group of them immediately flew forward. Invincible Fighter followed closely behind. Soon, the group arrived at a grand hall. In the grand hall, there were already tens of thousands of people standing inside. The weakest among them was a divine king expert. At the forefront, there were 4 old men sitting there. Domain Lord, Qingshan is back. Let him take over the position of old leader. Invincible Fighter and the group flew over. The 5 Supreme Elders who were leading the group spoke directly. I've received the news. It's a blessing for the Lioli region that Qingshan can return at this time. Welcome back. You shall take over your father's position from now on. The Domain Lord sitting in the middle obviously knew about the arrival of the Upper Water God Emperor and said with a smile, Yes, Domain Lord. The Upper Water God Emperor nodded. These are your disciples, right? They shall join the Lioli region from now on. The Domain Lord looked at Invincible Fighter and the others behind the Upper Water God Emperor and said, After the war ends, let them join the Lioli region. The Upper Water God Emperor said to the Domain Lord. The Domain Lord was slightly stunned. Subsequently, he smiled and nodded. All right, Qingshan, you can decide for yourself. Yes. The Upper Water God Emperor nodded. He was from the Lioli region. Now that the Lioli region was in danger, even the God Emperors might die in battle. He could die for his home, but he didn't want to drag his disciples into this. Once there was a crisis, he wouldn't retreat. However, he would order his disciples to retreat. The Domain Lord obviously understood what he meant. All right, we're all here. The situation is urgent. The war has broken out in the Mechanic Emperor region. Our Lioli region has 10 God Emperors guarding the border. More God Emperors have appeared in the Chi Mei region. Those God Emperors are not afraid of death. Our 6 great armies are guarding the border. 4 God Emperors of the 3rd Army and the 6th Army have died in battle. Qingshan will take over the position of Deputy Army Commander of the 3rd Army. Supreme 4th Elder, you will take over the position of Army Commander. Set off immediately. The Domain Lord instructed everyone. In the end, he stood up and gave the order loudly. The situation was urgent. If it was any other time, the Upper Water God Emperor would have returned with a celebration. After all, he was a God Emperor. However, the border was in danger and the God Emperors had fallen. He didn't have the time for other things. Now, all the God Emperors rushed to the battlefield. Let's go. The Upper Water God Emperor waved his arm and led Invincible and his senior brothers to the teleportation formation with the group of Supreme Elders. Supreme 4th Elder, what's the situation over at the Chi Mei region? Why did 4 God Emperors die at once? The Upper Water God Emperor asked with a frown as he followed beside Supreme 4th Elder. No one knows why those monsters in the Chi Mei region went crazy. More than a dozen God Emperors led countless underlings and attacked without fear of death. We didn't react in time. We fought the enemy with all our might and killed 8 God Emperors. However, 5 God Emperors have fallen. Now, according to the latest news, more than a dozen God Emperors have appeared in the Chi Mei region. The Mechanic Emperor region has seized the opportunity to pin down a large number of our experts. Sigh, those damned bastards. Supreme 4th Elder roared angrily. Then why didn't the Grand Master and the others escape to their void divine kingdom in the face of danger? Invincible stood at the side and couldn't help but ask. We can't retreat. There are billions of experts and countless people of the Lioli region behind us. If our God Emperors retreat, they will die. Supreme 4th Elder glanced at Invincible and said, Around them, Some middle-aged men also looked at Invincible. Obviously, to them, Invincible's question was very stupid. Chapter 2903. With the Dragon Palace at his back, Invincible felt the gazes around him. He pursed his lips and didn't say a word. What else could he say? This was simply too great. Sigh, my dumb master should know this too. Why did he come back at this time? Isn't he tired of living? He left for 1,000,000 years. Why did he come back? Invincible thought to himself. Following behind, Invincible and the others entered the teleportation formation. At the next moment, a terrifying and barbaric aura surged over. Boom boom boom. The roars could be heard clearly and the aura surged over. Wang wang wang. Beside him, a group of colored glass god emperors flew into the air and stared ahead coldly. Invincible Battle Law flew into the air as well and looked ahead. The scene was a little blurry. He immediately took out a mirror. This was a mirror that Heaven Formation had given him back then. Through the mirror, he could clearly see everything in front of him. He could see the massacre on the battlefield. Junior brother, what treasure is this? At the side, Invincible's senior brothers and sisters came over and looked at the mirror. What a terrifying battlefield. When they saw the scene in the mirror, they gasped in shock. In front of them, there was a battle line that was billions of miles long in the void. There were all sorts of war machines. There were also powerful technological warships lined up in a row. They were so dense that one couldn't see the end of it. What shocked them the most was that in the scene, there were two extremely terrifying space beasts. The space beasts were dozens of kilometers long and they were fighting with a group of demons. These are the two star beasts of colored glass. They are God Emperor level space beasts. Eldest senior brother roared in a low voice, his face filled with shock. The first, second and fourth armies are fighting. Let's go to the front. The fourth supreme elder stared ahead, his eyes flickering as he spoke. He flew over directly. Let's go. Upper Water God Emperor said. He waved his arm and flew forward with Invincible and the others. We are going to the 6th army. A few God Emperors and experts flew to the side. Invincible, on the other hand, followed his master and flew towards the 3rd Legion. At the front line of the vast battlefield, rows of densely packed experts gathered there. Is this the 3rd Legion? At least 1 billion people. Those ahead are all God King level experts. There are so many experts. Guys, look ahead. Those devil caves look so terrifying. There seems to be an endless number of demons and monsters inside. Jean F.A. Woody and his fellow disciples followed their master and approached the battlefield. Their faces were filled with shock. Such a vast battlefield caused their hearts to tremble. Soldiers of the 3rd Legion, come here. Jean F.A. Woody and the others came to the front of the battlefront with Supreme 4th Elder. Yes. When the 8th Order God King Realm cultivators saw the 4th Supreme Elder and the others, they immediately flew over. Next, I will be the commander of the 3rd Legion and Emperor God Qingshan will be the deputy commander. The 4th Supreme Elder stared at the group of soldiers and said, Yes, Legion Commander, Vice Legion Commander. A group of soldiers immediately shouted. When they looked at the Water God Emperor, they were slightly surprised. It was especially so for an 8th Order God King Realm middle-aged man. When he saw the Water God Emperor, his face sank. All commanders, come over. At this moment, a voice rang out. It's the Great Elder's voice. He should be discussing the next battle plan. Qingshan, let's go over. The 4th Supreme Elder said to the Water God Emperor. All right. You guys wait here. The Water God Emperor nodded his head and said to Jean F.A. Woody and the others behind him. Yes, Master. Jean F.A. Woody and the others nodded their heads as they sized up the surroundings. Hey Yao, that deputy commander seems to be your uncle. When the soldiers saw their commanders leaving, they stood there and waited. At the back, a skinny middle-aged man said to a middle-aged man in mecha attire. I don't have such an uncle. If not for him, my father wouldn't have died. The middle-aged man in the mecha roared with an enraged look on his face. Hey Yao, don't be angry. Everything that happened back then was an accident. Uncle Qingshan's children were also. I didn't expect Uncle Qingshan to return at this time and break through to the God Emperor realm. A plump middle-aged man patted his shoulder and consoled him. The middle-aged man in mecha attire didn't appreciate it. He snorted and didn't reply. Even though their voices weren't loud, the few thousand people around them were at least 8th Order Undying God King realm. They could hear it clearly. Jean Fa Woody and the others heard it too and looked over curiously. They had some understanding as to why their master left his hometown. However, they couldn't interfere in their master's family matters. The surrounding soldiers looked at Jean Fa Woody and the others but didn't say a word. 3rd Legion, Team 123, replaced Team 123 of the 1st Legion. Soon, the 4th Supreme Elder and the Water God Emperor flew over and ordered. The soldiers of Team 123 carried out the order and flew forward. Soon, tens of millions of disciples and experts charged into the void in front of them. That was the battlefield. At this time, there were only a few God Emperor-level monsters fighting against the 2 space beasts. There weren't any God Emperor Yao Xie in other places. Hence, the battlefield was still stable. However, even if it was stable, there were still many casualties. Let's go over. Supreme 4th Elder said to the Celestial Emperor of the Upper Water before flying towards the front of the soldiers of the 3rd Legion. Of the billion soldiers of the 3rd Legion, a large portion of them were sitting cross-legged on the ground, recovering their energy. The arrival of the Water God Emperor and the others did not cause any commotion. This was the military rule. Jean Fa Woody and the rest followed behind. Their eyes swept across the entire legion and they couldn't help but click their tongues. Under their senses, just the number of God King powerhouses in the 3rd Legion had reached more than 300,000. The entire Colored Glaze region had over 3 million God Kings. I brought you all here to let you see Master's hometown and also to train. Each of you can enter the battlefield to train. If you encounter any danger, the Jade Token will bring you back to your own God Kingdom. Once you return, don't come here for the time being. The Water God Emperor took out 4 Jade Tokens and passed them to Jean Fa Woody and the rest. Yes, Master. Jean Fa Woody's 3 senior brothers and sisters nodded immediately. He pursed his lips and looked at his master. Master, can we not enter the battlefield to train? Chapter 2904. With the Dragon Palace at his back 7-inch not going? You won't be in danger with the protection of the Jade Token. Don't worry, you won't die. The God Emperor of Upper Water glared at Invincible when he heard him. I'm not going. What if I run into danger and return to my own country? I can't stay here anymore. Master, I'm not going to the battlefield. I want to stay here to protect you. Invincible said with a straight face. You brat. When Upper Water God Emperor heard Jean Fa Woody's words, he was so angry that he wanted to teach him a lesson. But there were too many people around, so he didn't make a move. Protect me? The God Emperor of Upper Water stared at his disciple with a black face. Qingshan, this disciple of yours doesn't look old from his aura, but he's pretty strong. The 4th Supreme Elder said with a smile on his face. This disciple of mine is good at everything except for his fear of death and mischievous behavior. The God Emperor of Upper Water shook his head and patted Invincible's head. The corner of Invincible's mouth twitched. He really wanted to protect his master. He wanted so many treasures from the Dragon Palace to protect his own life. But if he wasn't in danger, he could protect his master. After all, the treasures he had could kill 2 or 3 First Order God Emperors. If his master returned to his own country, all his treasures would be useless. Hence, before coming here, Invincible had decided not to take risks. He would be a coward if he could. Junior brother, you're too cowardly. How long are you going to be a coward? You need to hone your combat skills. The senior brothers and sisters beside him were speechless. Cough cough, this isn't cowardly. I'm going to hone my combat skills after I'm invincible. Invincible warrior said shamelessly. The 3 senior brothers and sisters were speechless. Master, let's familiarize ourselves with this place before heading to the battlefield to train. The 3 of them said to the God Emperor of Upper Water. The God Emperor of Upper Water revealed a satisfied look. This battlefield is too cruel. I need to send a message to Big Boss Wang, Old Master Heavenly Array, Demon Fiend Orochi and the other big brothers. Let them know how dangerous it is for me to be here. As Invincible combatant spoke, he took out the communication stone plate that was specially used to communicate with Wang Xian and the rest. Immediately, he aimed it ahead and started recording. After filming, he began to edit the message and sent it to Wang Xian and the rest. Therefore, in the next few days, Invincible Fighter would spend his free time taking photos and videos. Later on, they even made a big fuss about how dangerous this place was and how they were fighting bravely with their invincible battle techniques. Especially when he sent the video to Heavenheart, it was even more exaggerated. This made many people in the 3rd Division recognize Invincible Warrior as a coward. Wow, Boss Wang, you have no idea how tragic the situation here is. It's already the 5th day, and my master has already entered the battlefield. He's fighting a First-Order God Emperor Realm demonic creature. The entire battlefield is too tragic. Boss Wang, take a look. There are so many injured soldiers. Invincible Warrior stood at the front line of the battle platform, shooting all kinds of videos. In the end, when he saw someone injured, he even took a few photos of the others. Shut up. How can the deputy leader have such a cowardly disciple like you? Your senior brothers and senior sisters all know how to enter the battlefield to fight, but you coward. Why are you still taking photos here and there? That injured soldier couldn't help but scold Invincible Fighter. Cough cough. Brother, your words are a little harsh. I'm not even from the Lioli region. Invincible Fighter coughed and lifted his head when he saw that injured soldier rebuking him. That soldier was speechless. Since the other party wasn't from the Lioli region, what else could he say? 4th, 5th, and 6th battle groups, attack. At this time, an order sounded from the void ahead. Get lost. A slightly cold voice sounded from behind. Invincible Fighter turned around and saw a middle-aged man staring at him coldly. He raised his middle finger and immediately stepped aside. Damn it. Even your father is dead. I'm the disciple of your deputy leader, a man with the backing of the Dragon Palace. How dare you scold me? I'll fuck you up if I have the chance in the future. Invincible Fighter looked at that figure and mumbled, Sigh, why do I feel that the battles are getting more and more intense these days? Just the 3rd Army alone has more than 20 million casualties. Invincible Fighter looked at the battlefield and frowned slightly. He had a bad feeling about this. He touched the treasure in his arms and finally felt a little more at ease. Phew. 5 hours later, the Upper Water Divine Emperor flew over and wiped the blood off his body. Master, are you all right? Invincible Fighter ran over immediately, took out a cup of water and asked, I'm fine. This is the fresh blood of that Celestial Emperor demon. The Upper Water Divine Emperor nodded. Master, Big Senior Brother and 3rd Junior Brother are in danger. They were surrounded by demons and were forced to return to their own kingdoms. At this time, 2nd Senior Sister flew over and reported to the Upper Water Divine Emperor. The Upper Water Divine Emperor nodded and looked at the battlefield ahead with a solemn expression. Deputy Leader, the leader of our 1st Army has fallen. At this time, a soldier flew over and reported to the Upper Water Divine Emperor. Let the deputy leader take over. The Upper Water Divine Emperor frowned and said, The leader of the 1st Army was an expert at the pinnacle of the God King realm. The battle now was getting more and more intense. Oh my God! Invincible Fighter murmured when he heard that. He patted his chest. Fortunately, he didn't go over. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to hold on even with the dragon tool. The following battles were still as intense as ever. Invincible Fighter's expression grew more and more solemn. Around him, soldiers with serious injuries were bandaging their wounds. 3rd Army, except for the injured, attack. Suddenly, a series of terrifying roars came from the void in front of them. Invincible Fighter and the others could see huge demon dens flying towards them. Countless demons flew out from within, letting out terrifying roars. And those 2 roars belonged to Celestial Emperor-level existences. 1st Army, except for the injured, attack. 2nd Army, except for the injured, 4th Army, except for the injured. Attack? At this time, voices could be heard from the surroundings. This caused everyone's expression to change slightly. Boom. Invincible Fighter frowned when he saw his master rushing into the battlefield ahead. The situation is a little bad. Invincible Fighter murmured and frowned. My master can't die. Chapter 2905. With the Dragon Palace at his back 8-inch shit, things aren't looking good. More than 20 Emperor God level monsters flew out of the demon's lair. We're in trouble. We only have a dozen Emperor God experts on our side. I'm not sure if we can hold them off with the other divine weapons. Why are there so many terrifying monsters in Chime region? D***Gemenet. At the battlefield, everyone from the 6 armies except the injured had entered the battlefield. One by one, the Emperor God experts defended against the invasion of the Emperor God monsters. This was the most ferocious invasion over the past few days. At the front of the battle platform, a group of injured soldiers stared at the battlefield in embarrassment. Endless monsters were charging towards them, and the soldiers of Lioli region fought back with their lives. In a war of this level, they couldn't retreat to their own holy kingdom when they encountered danger. Once they retreated, the rest would be in danger. If that happened, they wouldn't be a match for the monsters. Hence, they could only fight to the death. The fall of the God Emperors wasn't because they couldn't escape. It was because they couldn't escape or retreat. Hence, 5 God Emperors had fallen. Junior brother, will Master be fine? On the battle platform, Invincible's senior sister looked at the battle ahead and said with a solemn expression. Facing the slaughter and the terrifying scene in front of him, he was also a little apprehensive. Heis, Master is getting old and his brain isn't working well anymore. It's fine if you came back to visit Master. Why did you come here to fight against the monsters and inherit your father's position? Now, it's hard to say if you can survive. You should stay as far away from such things as you can. Invincible looked at the battlefield ahead and said helplessly. This, Invincible's senior sister looked at him and didn't know what to say. No matter what, her master was a hero in her heart. As for her junior brother, he was too cowardly and a coward. Do you think everyone is like you? Like a coward? What's the point of cultivating? Isn't it to protect our home and take revenge? At this moment, an angry voice suddenly came from behind. Ha! When Invincible heard these words, he turned his head over to take a look. When he saw that it was the middle-aged man wearing a mecha, he curled his lips and showed a look of disdain. Although I hate Shangshui Qingshan, he did not bring shame to the name of Shangshui. I really don't know how he could have such a useless disciple like you, trash. When the middle-aged man saw the look of disdain on Jean Fa Woody's face, he berated him furiously. Hee, Darklight, ignore this guy. He's just a coward. His strength isn't bad, but he's a coward. Why bother with such a coward? Exactly, brother Heiyao. There's no need to waste your breath on such a person. At the back, a group of injured players saw the situation and spoke to Ubisoft Darklight. Yours truly isn't someone from the Lu-Li region. The reason why yours truly cultivates is for the sake of longevity. Invincible Warrior raised his head, completely ignoring the mockery of the soldiers. Darklight of Shangshui saw his fearless attitude and retreated with a gloomy face. He stared at the battlefield in front of him nervously. Invincible Warrior took out a mirror and looked at the battlefield in front of him. The intense battle continued. Cries of demons and humans could be heard in the void, accompanied by terrifying collisions. Their voices reverberated in the void. It's all right. Supreme Fourth Elder is very strong. He isn't at a disadvantage even when facing 2 God Emperor class evils. The situation is about to stabilize. An hour later, Invincible Warrior's senior sister heaved a sigh of relief as she looked at the situation in front of her. There were 3 First Order God Emperor realm demons on their side, but they were completely pinned down by the God Emperor and the 4th Supreme Elder. Below them, hundreds of millions of soldiers formed a battle formation. Relying on the war machines and battleships, they gradually gained the upper hand. DDD. But all of a sudden, an urgent alarm rang in the center of the battle stage. Invincible Warrior was stunned when he heard this alarm. Damn it, Another devil's den has appeared. At the back, a group of injured players heard the urgent alarm and their faces changed. One by one, they flew into the sky and stared ahead. There are two huge devil's dens flying towards us. There might be God Emperor realm demons in them. An old man stared ahead with a solemn expression and shouted, "All armies, retreat. Retreat to the third front line. Everyone retreat." At this time, a cold roar came from the center of the battle stage. "Retreat, we'll pin down the God Emperor realm demons." The rest of the soldiers, retreat immediately. The God Emperor's voice rang out, "Retreat." Everyone in the 3rd Legion immediately retreated. Boom boom boom. The battle stage behind Invincible Warrior and the others also rumbled. The entire battle stage moved and countless cannons popped out. The cannons were aimed at the front. Invincible Warrior's expression changed slightly when he saw this. In front of them, all the soldiers of the 3rd Division were retreating towards them. In the void ahead, the God Emperor and the 4th Supreme Elder were fighting against 3 First Order God Emperor realm demons. Terrifying roars could be heard coming from the 2 devil's dens that were flying over. At this time, huge heads flew out from the devil's dens. "Damn it, all soldiers retreat quickly. Qingshan, we can hold on for a few more minutes." The 4th Supreme Elder looked over and roared with a solemn expression, "Retreat, retreat, retreat." The soldiers of the 3rd Legion retreated quickly and soon reached the front of the battle stage. "Everyone, get on the battle stage." The commanders of the various battle groups shouted their orders. Boom boom boom. Countless soldiers retreated towards the battle stage. Invincible Warrior and his senior sister quickly opened up a path and stared ahead with a solemn expression. In front of them, countless demons were charging towards them. And from the 2 devil's dens, 2 First Order God Emperor realm demons flew out with countless subordinates. Some of them pounced towards the God Emperor and the 4th Supreme Elder, while others attacked the battle stage. "Not good, Master, and the others have to deal with 5 First Order God Emperor realm demons." Invincible Warrior's senior sister looked ahead with an ugly expression on her face. 5 against 2. If they weren't careful, their master might die. "It's fine, it's fine. The 4th Supreme Elder of the Colored Glass Sect should have a trump card. The Colored Glass Sect is the strongest force, after all. They should have a trump card." Invincible Warrior's expression changed slightly when he saw this. He muttered to himself, "Soldiers on the battle stage, attack the demons in front of us. All soldiers on the platforms, attack the demons up ahead. Activate the battle platforms and evacuate. Only after we evacuate will the Legion commander and the others be able to retreat." At this time, an angry roar came from the side. Invincible Warrior looked at the demons in front of him. In addition to the 2 devil's dens, they were already at a disadvantage. He sighed heavily. Chapter 2906. With the Dragon Palace at his back, 9 boom, boom, boom. Wave after wave of terrifying attacks rained down. However, the roars of the demonic beasts in front of them were as terrifying as ever. Battle platform bombardment cannons, fire. An order rang out from the side. Boom, boom, boom. A deafening explosion rang through the air. A cannon shell that was tens of kilometers in size flew towards the front, forming a mushroom cloud in the air. It was a terrifying sight. However, the demonic beasts were also emitting a terrifying aura. The tens of demonic beasts in front of them could even withstand the attacks of the cannon shells. The speed of their retreat wasn't fast. However, based on the bombardment of the cannon shells and the attacks from the soldiers on the battle platform, they should be able to retreat safely. Not good. Junior brother Invincible, look at Master. 2 First Order God Emperor realm abyssal beasts are flying out from the Devil's Cave and attacking Master. Right at this time, second senior sister pointed to the void in front of her and exclaimed to Invincible. Invincible looked over and his face sank. Fuck, where's Azure Lee's trump card? Isn't Azure Lee very strong? Take out your trump card and kill these demonic beasts? Invincible roared with an ugly expression. He hesitated for a moment before flying towards the center of the battle platform. Junior brother Invincible. Second senior sister's expression changed and she quickly followed behind. Guild leaders, hurry up. Hurry up and take out your trump cards and retreat from this place. If you guys are any slower, your guild leaders and the others will die. Fuck, can't you guys retreat faster? Invincible flew to the center of the battle platform and looked at the commanders who were launching long-range attacks. He urged with an ugly expression. The commanders shouted when they saw Invincible flying over. They stared at him with an ugly expression. Pull him to the side. How can a piece of trash question us? One of the commanders roared angrily when he saw the situation in front of him. The two of you, go to the side and wait. Otherwise, run away and don't disturb our commanders. Two Ninth Order Immortal King Realm experts immediately pulled Invincible over and locked their auras on him. They warned Invincible coldly. Fuck, take out your trump cards. Either you help the Legion commander, or you retreat from this place. Invincible scolded with an ugly expression. Brat, don't cause trouble here if you don't know anything. If you weren't the Vice Legion commander's disciple, we would have punished you by military law long ago. The two Ninth Order Immortal God King Realm experts said coldly. Junior brother Woody, don't be rash. Master will be fine. Second senior sister, who was sitting beside him, said hurriedly. Yours truly might not know anything, but I do know that your Luli is nothing but trash. Bloody hell. Thankfully, yours truly was thick-skinned enough to ask for some good stuff from Boss Wong and the others. Invincible ignored his senior sister and pointed at the two Ninth Order God King Realm experts. Hurry up and take this guy away. If he continues to cause trouble, just lock him up. Hearing Invincible's words, a few battle team leaders ordered with grim expressions. Behind him, a group of soldiers also swept their gazes over coldly. In a short period of time, the entire 3rd Legion knew about this sloppy and cowardly fellow. Although they didn't say anything on the surface, they were cursing him in their hearts. If it wasn't for the fact that he was the disciple of the vice leader and the fact that the vice leader had risked his life for Lioli, they would have beaten him up long ago. Even if he was the disciple of another god emperor, he would have been beaten up. Scram. The two Ninth Order God King Realm experts lost their patience as they barked coldly. Trash Luli. You want me to do it myself? Invincible raised his middle finger at them and turned to look at the battlefield. In a flash, he flew forward. Junior brother Woody. When second senior sister saw Jean F.A. Woody flying forward, her expression changed drastically and she immediately shouted out. That brat is courting death. The Luli soldiers' faces darkened when they heard Invincible's words. She said coldly when she saw him flying over. Senior sister, don't follow me. Don't worry, I'll be fine. After saying that, Invincible Battle waved his hand and a piece of blood-red cloth was draped over his body. Grandpa Sky Array, I hope you're not lying to me. He patted the mark of a venerable on his body and waved his arm once again. Roar. A low roar could be heard as Long Lei appeared beside him. Brother Duan Jinming, you're the most honest. You won't lie to me. Invincible waved his arm and a water droplet cannon appeared beside Long Lei. Long Lei, control the water droplet cannon and open a path of life and death for me. Invincible Battle Law stood on the head of Long Lei and ordered loudly with a thought. Buzz. Long Lei waved his arm and controlled the 1,000-meter water droplet cannon. He placed all the water attribute divine stones he had prepared in advance into the cannon. Go, get closer to my master. Invincible roared. Buzz. Long Lei's body moved and he flew up into the sky. Senior sister, please take a picture of my heroic and invincible appearance. Invincible turned around and shouted at his second senior sister. There's something wrong with that guy's brain. On the platform, all the soldiers commented in disdain when they saw Invincible flying over at this moment. There were billions of demons ahead. If he flew over at this moment, he would definitely be attacked by them. With just a few thousand demons attacking, that hateful fellow was completely obliterated. Even a pinnacle god king would die if he flew over at this moment. Although my junior brother is afraid of death, he's not stupid. Since he has such a good relationship with the Dragon King, he might have some treasures. Second senior sister looked at Invincible flying over from the back with an ugly expression. All she could do was comfort herself. As expected, just as Invincible Battle Mage and the others flew for about 50 million kilometers, countless demons noticed them. In front of him, the two peak stage God King evil beasts let out a furious roar and charged towards him. Behind them, there were also hundreds of thousands of evil beasts attacking. Their terrifying power covered the entire starry sky. If that lad doesn't escape now, he'll probably die. Given that Trash's character, he'll definitely escape immediately. On the stage, everyone could see clearly that Yao Xie had launched an attack. Yao Xie said coldly. The few battle group leaders looked on indifferently. How dare you attack me? With the Dragon Palace at my back, my powers are boundless. Water Droplet Cannon, attack. When Invincible saw the demons attacking him, his face was filled with rage as he bellowed out. Buzz. Swoosh. A rain-like sound came from the Water Droplet Cannon. End of chapter. Chapter 2907. Showtime and swish swish swish. Swish swish swish. Swish swish swish. A large number of water elemental law stones were converted into energy and the Water Droplet Cannon let out a unique sound. The sound of rainwater was heard. In the next moment, countless dazzling raindrops fell towards the army of demons. They met the attacks of the demons. Pa-pa. The dense water droplets covered an area of 500 million kilometers. Soon, the raindrops met the attacks of the demons and penetrated them. Even the attacks of the two pinnacle immortal king god realm demons were neutralized. The rest of the raindrops continued to fall. Soon, the cries of the demons were heard. Swish swish swish. Before the demons could react, the Water Droplet Cannon in front of Long Go launched a second round of attacks. Countless raindrops continued to fall. This time, it only attacked the two pinnacle immortal king god realm demons. The two pinnacle immortal king god realm demons let out a fearful roar. At this moment, their bodies were covered with wounds. The raindrops penetrated their wounds. Those with trypophobia would definitely faint if they looked at it. The two pinnacle immortal king god realm demons raised their heads and shot out flames towards the raindrops. Swish swish swish. However, the dense and terrifying raindrops pierced through the flames and continued to engulf the demons. The two pinnacle immortal king god realm demons that were the focus of the Water Droplet Cannon were penetrated by the water droplets and their vitality was drained rapidly. Within 500 million kilometers of these two pinnacle immortal king god realm demons, hundreds of millions of demons were killed. SSS, what a terrifying weapon. That guy has such a treasure. Two pinnacle immortal king god realm demons were killed instantly. This weapon of war is so powerful. These 2 rounds of attacks have killed at least hundreds of millions of demons. Damn, this kid has such a treasure on him. Did the deputy leader give it to him to protect his life? On the fighting ring, everyone was shocked when they saw this. Such a weapon was a great killing weapon. Their colored glass also had such a treasure, but they would only take it out at a critical moment. Second senior sister also opened her mouth slightly, and her eyes shone brightly. Master didn't give it to him. He must have gotten it from the Dragon Palace. She murmured, that kid is out of luck. His 2 rounds of attacks have attracted the attention of the evil army. The evil army is going to change their target. There are 7 to 8 peak level God King realm monsters that have locked onto that kid. If he doesn't escape, he'll be finished. At this moment, an exclamation came from the fighting ring. Jean Fa Woody took out the Water Droplet Cannon and killed 2 God King pinnacle evil spirits. The hundreds of millions of evil spirits attracted the attention of the entire evil spirit army. Under the guidance of the 7 to 8 pinnacle God King realm fiends, the entire fiend army actually attacked Jean Fa Woody. In other words, Invincible Warrior would have to face the attacks of the entire third army. Oh my god damn it, Dragon Tool, continue to attack? So. Countless raindrops shot towards the demonic army. After a round of attacks, hundreds of millions of evil spirits were killed. However, the 8 pinnacle God King realm fiends had witnessed the power of the raindrops. Hence, They were not injured due to their vigilance and defense. Continue. Jean F.A. Woody continued to shout. So. Don't stop, keep attacking. He shouted loudly. Damn, it can't be. So many water attribute law stones are all gone. However, the attacks only lasted for 2 rounds. All the law stones that he had accumulated were used up. This is too much. Who can afford to play with such a huge consumption? Jean F.A. Woody roared with a black face. He waved his arm and could only keep the water droplet cannon. However, the terrifying strength of the water droplet cannon that killed 500 to 600 million evil spirits in 4 rounds of attacks was already displayed. The energy of that kid's supreme treasure has been used up. On the fighting ring, a group leader said when he saw Jean F.A. Woody keeping his water droplet cannon. Such a treasure can kill so many evil spirits. It's already very terrifying. A battle group leader beside him said, if he doesn't escape, he'll be drowned by the evil spirit army. Everyone on the fighting ring said. Jean F.A. Woody took out his water droplet cannon and attracted the firepower of the evil spirits. This made things much easier for them. Everyone was looking at him. Fuck, do they really think that I'm Lioli's trash? Jean F.A. Woody floated in the air and shouted loudly when he saw the evil spirit army charging over. His voice was very loud, and all the soldiers of Lioli on the fighting ring heard it clearly. This made their eyes turn cold as they gritted their teeth. However, many people were slightly surprised. Could this guy have more treasures? Let me show you the poison that my big brother gave me. I'll fuck you bastards to death. As Jean F.A. Woody spoke, jade bottles appeared in his hands. He grabbed a bunch of jade bottles and handed a few of them to Long Lei. Little treasure, aim at the 8 pinnacle god king evil spirits. Aim at one point and the jade bottles will explode in front of them. As Jean F.A. Woody spoke, he also held a jade bottle in his hands. Sigh, this is all the poison that my 2 big brothers gave me. My heart aches. After this, I must get Lioli to reimburse me. As Jean F.A. Woody spoke, he waved his arm and threw the jade bottle at the evil spirit army in front of him. Long Lei also threw the jade bottle at the 8 pinnacle god king evil spirits with force. Senior sister, film it for me. Make it look cool. After Jean F.A. Woody threw the bottle, he immediately turned around and said to his senior sister. Second senior sister pursed her lips. After hesitating for a moment, she took out a smart computer and started filming. What's that? Why is that guy so confident? On the fighting ring, the crowd looked over in shock. The evil spirit army was very fast. In a short period of time, they were only about 2,000 kilometers away from Jean F.A. Woody. To an expert, this distance was very close. Bam, bam. However, at this moment, the jade bottle that Jean F.A. Woody and Long Lei had thrown exploded in the air. Drops of black liquid shot towards the evil spirit army. Especially the jade bottle that Long Lei had thrown. The resplendent liquid attacked the 8 pinnacle god king evil spirits. In the next moment, a shocking scene appeared. An earth-shattering sound was heard. That sound was filled with a mournful expression. The 8 pinnacle god king evil spirits of the abyss were hit by the poison before they could react. They also let out miserable cries. Their bodies rolled in the air as though they had suffered endless torture. Soon, their bodies started to fester and melt. Chapter 2908. Showtime and what's going on? Look, the entire army of evil seems to have stopped. Look at the 8-peak divine king realm evil beasts. They are roaring crazily. Their bodies are festering and they seem to be dying. What a terrifying attack. What is that? This is really creepy. What the hell did that guy throw out? The entire army of evil seems to be infected. At this moment, on the fighting ring, all the Azure Glaze soldiers widened their eyes and looked in front of them in shock. The 8-peak divine king realm evil beasts were collapsing and their vitality was disappearing rapidly. The army of evil, which consisted of billions of soldiers, stopped in the void. Miserable cries lingered in the air. The entire army of evil seemed to have entered hell as they let out soul-piercing screams. All the soldiers felt their scalps go numb when they saw this. Only their 1 billion soldiers would be able to fight against this army of demons and evil. However, the item that the kid took out could almost destroy the entire army of evil. Up ahead, hundreds of millions of demons and monsters died in droves, and hundreds of millions of them collapsed. After they died, their bodies looked hideous and disgusting. It should be poison. Look at the corpses of those evil beasts. It's a horrifying poison. Even peak Divine King Realm experts will die if they come into contact with it. How terrifying! I don't think the deputy commander gave this kid this poison. I don't think the deputy commander would give such a dangerous thing to him. In front of the battle platform, several battle group leaders said with shock in their eyes. The treasures that the annoying kid took out were more horrifying than the previous one. Look, 4/5 of the army of evil is dead. Shocked voices came from all around. All the soldiers were dumbfounded. That cowardly and shameless guy that made them feel disgusted had almost wiped out an entire demon legion. Even the Third Army couldn't achieve such a result. In the void at the forefront, the besieged Celestial Emperor of Upper Water and the Fourth Supreme Elder also sensed the situation. They were shocked when they saw it with their divine senses. Good. Invincible, I can still hold on for a while. The Celestial Emperor of Upper Water was excited. He knew that his disciple must have gotten something good from the Dragon Palace to save his life. However, this thing was a little fierce. Alright. Fourth Supreme Elder also revealed a smile on his face. Once the soldiers were certain of their safety, they would be able to escape. But right at this time, the 3 First Order God Emperor Realm demonic beasts that were surrounding the Water God Emperors suddenly attacked Huang Xiaolong. Not good. The Upper Water God Emperor, who had been passively defending, had a drastic change in his expression as he hurriedly tried to block the attacks. But right at this time, the other 2 First Order God Emperor Realm abyssal species became ruthless and pounced towards him. The Upper Water God Emperor's face turned pale as his body was swept away by the energy. Pooh! He spat out a mouthful of blood. Woodira! The Upper Water God Emperor roared loudly with an anxious expression on his face. That was a Void First Order God Emperor demonic demon with a body size of approximately 5,000 meters. He looked like a praying mantis. He stared at unparalleled combat technique in front of him. His figure flashed and he charged over at an abnormally terrifying speed. Not good. A Celestial Emperor evil monster has its eyes on that kid. Oh no! A God Emperor Realm demonic demon has locked onto a space. He can't even return to his God Kingdom. It's over. It's a pity for that kid. Even though he's disgusting, he did a great job. On the battle stage, the soldiers saw a First Order God Emperor Realm evil monster charging towards unparalleled combat technique, and their expressions changed. It was too easy for a God Emperor to kill a God King Realm expert. He could not even escape even if he wanted to. Unparalleled combat technique could feel a great terror enveloping him. His body trembled as he cursed. With a wave of his hand, he kept the dragon machinery into his spatial ring. Before he could take out any treasures to defend himself, he saw a huge claw descending on his head. Grandpa Sky Array, bless me. Such a terrifying speed did not allow unparalleled combat technique any time to react. He could only stand there in a daze. It's over. When second senior sister saw this scene, her face turned pale and she hurriedly closed her eyes. On the battle stage, all the soldiers frowned slightly. They looked at unparalleled combat technique and sighed in their hearts. Boom! A terrifying collision sound resounded, and unparalleled combat technique's figure was sent flying for dozens of kilometers. However, there was no sign of injury on his body. At this time, the mark of the venerable ancestor on his body emitted a blood-red glow. Behind him, there was a 10,000-meter blood-red shadow shrouding him. Haha, awesome, hee. When unparalleled combat technique saw that there was no sign of injury on his body, and he could feel the imposing shadow surrounding him, his face lit up with excitement. Little bastard, you dare to attack this young master? Why don't you take a look at who's protecting this young master? Unparalleled combat technique floated in the void as he pointed his middle finger at the mantis-like First Order God Emperor Realm evil monster and roared in disdain. This is? This is a defensive treasure that can actually defend against a God Emperor realm attack. Fuck, how many treasures does that guy have? He even has such a treasure. In front of the battle stage, the group of battle group commanders couldn't help but curse out loud when they saw this scene. An incomparably powerful water-attributed divine artifact, and a horrifying poison. Now, he even took out a defensive treasure that could defend against a God Emperor's attack. This guy's entire body was filled with treasures. This was too amazing. This guy has so many treasures. All the colored glass realm soldiers sighed in their hearts. But at this time, the mantis-like First Order God Emperor realm evil monster saw that unparalleled combat technique was unharmed. His bloodthirsty eyes stared at the shadow surrounding him, and a cold expression appeared on his face. His figure flashed again as he pounced towards unparalleled combat technique. Do you really think this young master is a pushover? Unparalleled combat technique was enraged when he saw the evil monster charging towards him once again. With a wave of his hand, the resplendent immortal beheading gourd appeared in his hand. Without any hesitation, he pulled out the gourd's lid and willed it. Numerous wind-attributed immortal beheading swords flew at a terrifying speed towards the First Order God Emperor realm evil monster in front of him. Half of the wind-attributed immortal beheading swords that he had accumulated for 2 years flew out. The moment the First Order God Emperor realm evil monster saw the immortal beheading gourd's immortal beheading gourd, it felt the threat of death looming over it. Its eyes were filled with fear, and it wanted to stop its body and escape. However, the distance between them was too close, and the immortal beheading gourd was too fast. 13 immortal beheading gourds immortal beheading gourd instantly enveloped it. Every immortal beheading gourd's immortal beheading gourd had the power of a First Order God Emperor realm expert. This was equivalent to 13 Emperor gods launching an attack at the same time. Moreover, this First Order God Emperor realm evil monster had no time to react. Pew. In the next moment, the 13 immortal beheading gourd's body was pierced through. An incomparably painful scream came from the First Order God Emperor realm evil monster's mouth. His life force was disappearing at a terrifying speed, and his body slowly fell to the ground. The First Order God Emperor realm evil monster had fallen. Unparalleled combat technique's heart pounded violently as he watched this scene. He pursed his lips and raised his head slightly. Courting death. Of all people to provoke, why did you provoke this young master? Unparalleled combat technique said calmly. Chapter 2909. Battle time next. Gulp. Dumbfounded. The soldiers of the Colored Glass Third Legion were dumbfounded. On the battle stage, everyone stared blankly at the lifeless First Order God Emperor realm demonic beast falling to the ground. Instant kill. A First Order God Emperor realm demonic beast was killed in an instant. Watching this scene, everyone was in a daze as they stared blankly at the figure in front of them. In their eyes, that loathsome and cowardly fellow had killed a demonic beast in an instant. A blood-red figure shrouded his body, holding a resplendent gourd in his hand. His head was raised arrogantly as he floated in the air. Just now, flying swords flew out from the gourd and killed a First Order God Emperor realm demonic beast. How is this possible? What treasure is that in his hand? It actually killed a God Emperor realm demonic beast in an instant. This is too terrifying. Fuck, why does that fellow have so many treasures on him? He killed a First Order God Emperor realm demonic beast in an instant. What kind of treasure is that? Even an ordinary God Emperor would find it hard to possess such treasures. How did that fellow get so many treasures? How much luck does he have to obtain so many treasures? It can't be given to him by Lord Vice Commander, right? Even Lord Vice Commander doesn't have such treasures. Soon, discussions broke out on the battle stage. Their eyes were burning with disbelief as they stared at Invincible. They couldn't believe their eyes when they saw so many powerful treasures in front of them. Not even their colored glass God Emperor could take out so many treasures. However, those fellows came one after another, each stronger than the last. It was simply heaven-defying. Junior brother Invincible actually obtained so many treasures from the Dragon Palace. Second senior sister muttered as she looked at Invincible. Her eyes were filled with shock. The divine artifact in her junior brother's hands could kill their master in an instant. Good. In the void in front of them, the high water god emperor was stunned when he sensed the situation. He couldn't help but burst into laughter. He didn't expect his disciple to obtain so many terrifying treasures from the Dragon Palace. Of the 5 first-order god emperor realm demonic beasts, 1 had been killed by Invincible, and there were only 4 left. If there were 4 of them, it would be very difficult to threaten his and the 4th Supreme Elder's lives. Gagaga, I've already said that I'm staying here to protect you, Master, but you still don't believe me. Humph. I'll show you the power of my invincible battle techniques. When Invincible Battle Law heard Shangshui God Emperor's words, he raised his head and laughed. As he spoke, a flute appeared in his hand. It was a yellow jade flute. At the opening of the jade flute, there was a formation, which was set up by the heaven formation. The jade flute was of the earth attribute. Logically speaking, invincible combat technique should not be used. However, the heavenly formation had set up a formation on it. As long as the formation was activated, it could be used immediately. Furthermore, now that the celestial formation's strength had increased, it had left a trace of its own energy in the formation. Even if one wasn't a formation master, they would still be able to activate the formation. Buzz. He activated the array on the jade flute, and a special sound came from it. In the surrounding void, the non-elemental energy began to gather in front of him. What kind of treasure is this? Look at the jade flute in his hand. That mysterious and resplendent aura doesn't seem to be any weaker than that gourd. On the battle stage, all the Lazuli faction soldiers saw Invincible Battle Law take out another jade flute, and their expressions changed again. Don't tell me this guy has more supreme treasures? All the Lazuli faction soldiers widened their eyes. At this time, Invincible Battle Law would naturally not disappoint them. A deep roar resounded. In the void in front of him, a large amount of earth-attributed law energy condensed into a huge creature. From that creature's body, an aura that belonged to a god emperor spread out. In the next moment, that earth-attributed law energy rushed towards a first-order god emperor realm demonic creature in front of Shangshui god emperor. Seeing this scene, everyone sucked in a cold breath again, their faces filled with shock. Motherfucker, is that guy a treasure vault? How could he have so many supreme treasures? A first-order god emperor realm demonic creature. That jade flute actually summoned an earth-attributed first-order god emperor realm demonic creature. This, a supreme treasure of heaven and earth. Let's do it. Invincible Battle Law relied on the protection of the scar of the venerable realm to wave his arm, roared, and flew towards his master. Roar. The earth-attributed law energy creature's speed was terrifying, and it soon arrived at Shangshui God Emperor's side, fighting one of the demonic creatures. Seeing this scene, the Shangshui God Emperor pursed his lips, his eyes filled with shock. This disciple of his actually obtained so many supreme treasures from the Dragon Palace. In front of him, the 2 demonic creatures besieging Shangshui God Emperor let out angry roars. They swung their huge tails, sweeping toward Shangshui God Emperor and the earth-attributed law energy creature. Master, restrain one of them, I'll kill the other one. Invincible Battle Law roared. All right. Shangshui God Emperor's body trembled. His eyes filled with excitement, and he immediately roared. This disciple of his was not done yet. In a one-on-one situation, Shangshui God Emperor was not afraid of the demonic creature in front of him. He held a jade pot in his hand, and with a wave of his arm, a large number of water element laws flew out of the jade pot. The water element laws condensed into various weapons, attacking the demonic creature. In an instant, the demonic creature was completely suppressed by Shangshui God Emperor. Invincible Battle Law came to the front, caressing the immortal slaying gourd in his hand, his face filled with pride. Master, watch out! Invincible Battle Law roared, and the gourd lid was opened. All of you come out. With a wave of his hand, immortal slaying swords appeared. Other than the wind element immortal slaying swords that could threaten a First-Order God Emperor, there were also fire, lightning, and wood elements. However, these three elements could only threaten a peak God King realm expert. Even so, there were too many of these three elements. These three elements added up to a total of 70 to 80 swords. Attack! Swish, swish, swish. With a thought, all the immortal slaying swords attacked the demonic creature in front of Shangshui God Emperor. What a sharp sword, what a terrifying sword. Shangshui God Emperor felt the sharpness of the immortal slaying swords, and his pupils constricted. He raised the jade pot in his hand, and numerous water ropes flew out, binding the demonic creature. Swish, swish, swish. The demonic creature also felt a strong sense of danger, and fear flashed in its eyes as it tried to escape. However, with Shangshui God Emperor's protection, and the hundreds of immortal slaying swords attacking at a terrifying speed, the demonic creature only managed to dodge half of the immortal slaying swords. A miserable shriek rang out once again. Ha! Killing a God Emperor is like killing a dog. Invincible Battle Law's arrogant voice rang out. I'm begging for monthly votes. The monthly votes will give me a lot of exposure. Thank you, brothers, for your support. Chapter 29:10. Requesting help from the Dragon Palace, one killing God Emperors like dogs. Looking at the life force of yet another fiend God Emperor disappearing rapidly, everyone shuddered. In a short period of time, 2 First-Order God Emperor realm gods were killed by Invincible. They were God Emperors. Even in the Colored Glaze region, they were high and mighty God Emperors. However, it sounded weird coming from an 8th-Order God King realm master's mouth. But in reality, that incomparably arrogant fellow had killed 2 God Emperors and Yaoxia. And they were all instant kills. Even though he had treasures to rely on. To be able to take out treasures was his own ability. At the side, the God Emperor who was fighting with the Earth element life form let out a fearful roar when he saw his comrade fall. On the other side, the other 2 God Emperors looked over with fear in their eyes. They roared in unison, exchanged a look, and stopped their attacks. The 3 God Emperors retreated swiftly as they let out indignant roars. God Emperor-level demons already possessed their own intelligence. Seeing 2 of their comrades killed, they were slightly afraid. They retreated immediately. Good, Qingshan, I didn't expect your disciple to have so many treasures. At this moment, the 4th Supreme Elder flew over from the side. He sized up Zhang Wuudi with a look of astonishment, and his heart was filled with shock. As the army commander, he was well aware of what had happened on the battle platform in the past few days. Some of his subordinates even reported to him, asking if he should chase this kid out. Since Qingshan had returned when the Colored Glaze region was in danger, he had to give Qingshan some face and let this kid do whatever he wanted. However, he didn't expect that Jingjiu, whom he had assumed to be a bad disciple of Green Mountain, would have so many powerful and formidable trump cards. Every single one of those weapons could kill him in an instant. Haha, you're welcome. Master, how was it? I told you, I didn't leave because I was afraid you would die. But now I'm... Invincible Warrior raised his head slightly and said proudly. The Upper Water God Emperor's face darkened when he saw Invincible acting so arrogantly in front of him. He flew to Invincible's side. Pa! He moved his palm and directly grabbed the back of Invincible Fighter's neck. I think you are a little arrogant. Did you get a lot of good stuff from the Dragon Palace this time? As the Upper Water God Emperor spoke, he carried him and flew towards the battle platform. Supreme 4th Elder curiously followed at the side. Ahem, Master, I've taken out all the treasures I got from Elder Wang and the others. They've basically all been used up. I wanted to save this to save my life. If I didn't see you in danger, I wouldn't have taken it out. Invincible said with a dark face. Master, I'm your savior now. He shouted loudly. Brat, I see that you've grown up. You can do it now. With 3 or 4 supreme treasures in your hands, do you want to fly to the sky? When the Upper Water God Emperor heard that he was his savior, his face turned even darker. With a wave of his arm, he tossed it to the ground of the fighting ring. Bam! The powerful force immediately caused it to fall on the deck of the fighting ring. Ah, master, you don't know what's good for you. I begged my grandparents to get these treasures. Invincible fighter said with a sorrowful face. Junior brother Invincible. Second senior sister saw Invincible fighter being tossed over and immediately walked over to help him up. Ahem, senior sister, did you record the scene of my invincible fighter killing an emperor god so easily? Invincible fighter kept the mark of the honor on his body and asked senior sister immediately. Don't worry, I've recorded it. Second senior sister replied speechlessly. That's good, that's good. Fortunately, the scene of my heroic invincible killing an emperor god like killing a dog was recorded. Otherwise, I would have suffered a great loss this time. Invincible fighter heaved a sigh of relief and said with a smile. On the surrounding fighting ring, everyone's lips twitched when they heard Invincible fighter's words. However, looking at that sloppy fellow, everyone's heart was filled with dread. This guy's achievement of killing 2 demonic evil god emperors was real. Qingshan, this disciple of yours really has a lot of treasures. He's really amazing. Supreme Fourth Elder looked at Invincible Fighter and exclaimed to the Divine Emperor of Shangshui, Hee, although this disciple of mine is naughty and mischievous, he's quite likable. He got to know the Dragon King of Dragon Palace 10 years ago and got these treasures from the Dragon King. The Divine Emperor of Shangshui chuckled. Although he didn't like to listen to his disciple's words, he would have been in danger today if it wasn't for this kid. Dragon King? The Dragon King of Dragon Palace? Fourth Supreme Elder's face revealed a look of surprise. Yes, otherwise, how could this kid get so many treasures? Even if he got them, he wouldn't be able to use them. The Divine Emperor of Shangshui said with a smile. Master, I borrowed these treasures and have to return them. Moreover, the Immortal Slaying Sword in the Immortal Slaying Gourd has been used up. I don't have any trump cards left. I think it's time for us to retreat. Why don't we return to the Heavenly Witchcraft domain in the Imperial Star domain? We can go anywhere. At least with Boss Wang and Dragon Palace, it won't be so dangerous. Invincible said to his master. It seems like the Dragon Palace is really strong. Supreme Fourth Elder glanced at the supreme treasure in Invincible's hand and said slowly, That's for sure. Invincible Battle replied. Old Fourth, you just sent out a call for help. What's the situation now? We just shook off the Celestial Emperor monsters on our side. At this time, numerous figures flew over from the surrounding battle platforms. The Azure Glass Celestial Emperors heaved a sigh of relief when they saw that they were fine. Hee, it was really dangerous just now. However, thanks to Qingshan's disciple who killed the 2 Celestial Emperors, our crisis was alleviated. Otherwise, it's hard to say what would have happened. Supreme Fourth Elder looked at the Celestial Emperors and said with a smile, What? Qingshan's disciple killed 2 Celestial Emperors? What's going on? The 10 Celestial Emperors were taken aback as they asked. My disciple used the Supreme Treasure to kill the 2 Celestial Emperors. The Divine Emperor of Shangshui explained. Supreme Treasure? The Celestial Emperors were shocked as they looked at Invincible. Hee, greetings, seniors. Invincible chuckled and greeted them when he saw everyone looking at him. Qingshan's disciple has a good relationship with the Dragon Palace. He borrowed many powerful supreme treasures from them before he came. He also used the supreme treasure to kill more than half of the celestial army on our side. Supreme Fourth Elder looked at the void ahead as he spoke to the Celestial Emperors. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.